here we are back with the next episode of this Pillars of Eternity. We just finished down here with the Temple of Boudica. We came up from here. And as I mentioned in the end of the last episode, I don't really remember where we came down. I have a feeling we entered here and went in there, but in the Crucible Keep, but I'm not entirely sure. This is up to Copperlane, and that's where we have already been. Heritage Hill, we have not been there. So what I'm thinking about now is that we need to rest, and we have the camp supplies for it. But I mean, we need to rest because a lot of people are low on health, and we also spent most of our spell slots.
How may I help?
Well, he has one spell slot left. Durin still has. Okay, well, we actually all have full health, or not full endurance.
How may I help?
Everybody is full on endurance, so perhaps we should just continue a little bit further before resting. I don't know.
Indeed.
Yeah, not alone.
Yes.
Let's go, all of us. So, I'm thinking that I want to go back here to find out if this was where I actually was before, because I haven't been in there. Really don't remember how I came down into those catacombs. Was it up here from the Copperlane? Probably was. Well, never mind. So this would okay, I can't see that now. Copperlane, Brackenbury, Andra's Gift, Heritage Hill, and the first fires, as we are in now. What does the Justicius have to say? What is it? Yeah, well, the map. Let's go for this one, because that's part of our quest. I'm looking for a neighborhood with a tower. It's near a cemetery. Best just stop looking then. The place you want is Heritage Hill. You can see the tower over the district's walls out that way. The Justicia points to the northwest. But something happened there. They don't let people in anymore, and none of the knights want to be posted anywhere close to it. Steer clear if you know what's good for you. Okay, so Heritage Hill. Where are the mad kept in Defiance Bay? Only place around here that takes them in is Brackenbury Sanitarium. I've heard they can treat your soul there, take the madness away, but there's just as many stories coming out of that place that'll chill your blood. It's a man, if you want to call him that, Ethelmoa there. He's head warden. If you're visiting or checking yourself in, he's the one to talk to. Okay, so these were clues to both our quests. Or two of our quests, sorry. This is the two-sided quests. It appears that Brackenbury Sanitarium is our best hope of finding help for Aloth. Hope they don't leave him there. Oh, and the other quest was this one. Enter the tower in Heritage Hill. Okay. But what is this place? Crucible Keep. I'd like to go in there as well. If I haven't already, I'm not actually sure. Justicia Oldmar. What business brings you to the keep?
Good day, stranger.
Oldmar gives you an appraising eye. Judging by the scars on his face, he's lucky to be able to do that much. Every day we get more from the hinterlands pouring into Defiance Bay. Keeps us busy on the watch, it does. You look like you recently arrived yourself. Who are you? A soldier of the Crucible Knights, and proud of it. I help keep everything running at the keep so that Commander Clever can focus on more important matters. Looking for something or just knocking the dirt off your boots? Well, both. What goes on in Crucible Keep? This is the headquarters of the Crucible Knights, so it's where we store arms and armor, as well as there's many of our soldiers' bunk. Commander Clever's in the back making plans as usual. He scratches his scarred cheek. We'll find the forge to the west end of the building along with our master smith, Dunstan. There's also a shrine to the golem, if you're the praying type. Tell me about the Crucible Knights. We're the defenders of Defiance Bay. We're not exactly a formal knighthood, but don't tell Commander Clever said that. He grins. We were the first organized militia to oppose Adrian rule, and today we're the largest force in the city. Our soldiers undergo years of combat training, and our officers are required to have their souls read by that critter out in the Dimwood Row. What's this about Dimwood Row? Just a requirement of the Crucible Knights, so the higher-ups know there's nothing messy built in your soul's past. Olmar widens his stance. Keeping the ranks pure is fine by me. I just wish they were more careful in hiring their ciphers. Sense something there? What's wrong with the ciphers? He shifts his weight and glances at the empty halls. They're mostly Orlans. I'm sure they're talented enough, but you can't trust them. Hostility is in their nature, and they've learned to hide it over the years. He frowns and crosses his arms. All I'm saying is they should at least be supervised by other folk. That's reasonable enough, isn't it? So I don't have the requirement for this. Oh, I don't know what to say here. There's not really a neutral middle ground. I mean, I can agree with him, tell him he's wrong, scold him, really? I don't know. If people treated them better, you wouldn't have to worry about them being so hostile. Oldmar shrugs. I'm just speaking the truth. Nowadays it seems that that's the biggest crime of all. Yeah, okay. Well, let's not dwell on that. Let's walk up here, see what else we can find out in here. More justiciars. Crucible Knights weren't always soldiers. We used to be blacksmiths. Okay, no unique ones there. We go in here first. Can I actually... No, this is stealing. Okay. I'm not gonna do that. Obviously. Oh, this place is huge. Penhelm?
Welcome.
The young Novitiate's armor has recently shined, and his hair clean and neatly combed. It's hard to believe he's ever seen battle, or that the scarred antique breastplate he wears could possibly be his. Are you looking for something? Osric? Does the name Osric sound familiar? He sniffs. If you've got any self-respect, you won't associate with him, or with any of his new friends at the Expedition Hall, for that matter. Scamps and delinquents, a lot of them. What's the story between you two? Osric have always held some controversial opinions, but they went overlooked for the longest time because his family has such an extensive history of service in the Crucible Knights. Frowns and crosses his arms. He finally went too far. He had the gall to suggest that we had strayed too far from our roots, that some of our officers were beginning to resemble Aedir nobility. He rubs a spot on his bracer with a silk handkerchief. He would have us all wear rough spun and fight with forge hammers. I merely reported his statements. If the knights obsessed over their past, they wouldn't have grown into the fighting force they are today. Penhelm nods. I quite agree, and that's why Osric has no place here. He says your affidavit is a forgery. Just what would he know about that? It's perfectly convenient for him to cast aspersions. What with his pedigree in the Knights? He folds his arms. He blinks at you. It's a lie, of course. Is that his breastplate you're wearing? It was. He looks down and admires it. It became property of the Crucible Knights when he was discharged. Now it's mine. And it's not for sale, if that's what you're wondering. Not every day you find armor that was used in the rebellion. So I gained some experience and enough about Osric. It's interesting because I remember the building where I met Osric and talked about this, but I don't remember the dialogue in detail and their conflict. I remember him being kicked out or something like that, but I don't remember the final details of it. Well, it seems like we ended it anyway, got our experience, so tell me about the Knights of the Crucible. We're the primary defenders of Defiance Bay. The Order's founders were the first to rally for their wooden independence. He waves his hand. Of course, that's ancient history now. Now, we're the most prestigious company of soldiers in the Deerwood. It's a glorious line of work. He scrunches up his nose. If you can forget about the barracks, that is. Was there anything else? How does someone become a knight? We don't take just anyone. Our members share soul legacies with the very men and women who defended this land a century and a half ago. He shifts his weight and coughs. Anyhow, Commander Cliver is responsible for initiations, but he rarely accepts foreigners. Well, so he will probably not accept us. That's what you're saying there. Just this year, they're nuts.
I'll take a look.
Neek. Did I miss something down there? Oh, this place is just huge. Don't need to crouch in here, I think. It's a civilized place. Tongues of flame lick at the forge, hissing with smoke as hot as a dragon's breath. Novitiate. I hope I get promoted to Justicia soon. He has a name, Dunstan.
If this is about the breastplates, I already told Cleaver they won't be repaired till next week.
The dwarf bustles between the sweltering forge fire and the work table. He wipes one muscle-knotted arm across his brow. Show him the pieces of the blade of the endless paths. I found several fragments of an ancient sword. Do you think you could repair it? Dunstan gives a low whistle. That's a fine blade indeed. He holds one fragment in his rough hands. Look, say, Deerin. Special made. Must have been a commission for a champion of some sort. He hands the shard back to you. A sword of this caliber would have had a specially designed hilt. Too. It would be a shame to graft anything else onto it, and besides, it'll balance best with all of the original pieces. You find the rest of it, and I'll forge it for you. Something else on your mind? What do you do here?
I'm a forge master. I'm a master smith for the Crucible Knights. But the way I see it, I'm also keeping up with our old traditions. The first members of our order were smiths. Nowadays, most everyone's a professional soldier. I suppose it's to be expected, but I think it's important we keep up with our roots, too.
He hefts a hammer in one hand. So he continued being a smith, even most of the others are soldiers now? Tell me about the knights.
We were all smiths back in Hodred's day, though I'm about the only one here who still gets his hands dirty. We're a fearsome fighting force, though these days I think Cleaver takes more pride in our parade formations.
Yeah. He thinks himself a progressive man, but he's obsessed with soul lineages and connections to the Deerwood's heroes of old. He picks up his hammer again. Other than Dinred Rao, who really knows about any of that, though. Okay, so the commander here, Cleaver, is also interested in this soul thing. So I still miss some fragments for that sword. I have that stated in my quest somewhere. Fragments of the scattered faith. Oh, that's not it. The Blade of the Endless Paths. Here it is. Find 4 more pieces. But I need to find the rest of it. Probably back at Cairnua under that. We had to go away from that because one of the battles was a bit too tough there. So we're gonna come back later. Oh, there's no fog of war here. Okay. Sometimes I like fog of war when I come to a new place because that helps me realize what I've investigated and what I haven't. But I think I've got the overview here. I don't know if it's important, but I did not check out what this said. The blades are razor sharp. Great, I went back for that. So this is barracks. So people sleep here. I can steal from them. I am not gonna. And this is just this here. We can also continue a bit to the back. Thick grime cakes the bottom of the top. The towel hanging from the side gives off an awful stench. So they don't actually switch or wash the towels between baths, I guess. Continue down here. Okay, this is where I could have gone when I came in. When I went left. Right? Yeah. Okay, so what's in here? More stuff that would be stealing. This is a record of active patrols and reported crimes at Ondra's Gift. That's one of the districts, I remember. The latter far outnumber the former. So there's far more crifts in Ondra's Gift than there are active patrols. Is that the point? Okay. And what have we here? Seems like a dining hall or something like that. Justiciar. They are both just regular justiciars, so nothing to do here really. This painting shows a row of warriors standing atop the walls of Defiance Bay, while Aedir ships sail away. So I can go out here, but I think I'm going to go out the same place I came in, and then I'm going to go this way just to make sure that I'm not missing anything down here. Stuck. Yeah. So let's go into the training room. Novitiate and Justiciars. I believe there's no dialogue there, but over here we have someone named, well, this Wyler. The Justiciar's gaze flicks over you briefly before returning to the novitiates gathered in the training area. If this is about patrols, my novitiates are already stretched to their limits. Between the refugees influx and the mess of at Heritage Hill, I simply don't have any units to spare. After a pause, she looks at you again. I'm sorry. Is there anything else you need? Is something wrong at Heritage Hill? She lowers her voice. What isn't wrong? The real question. A whole district of walking, flesh-eating corpses. We sealed the area 2 months ago, just after I lost one of my finest commanders there, and yet this is the second guard rotation to disappear. There are already enough rumors about the place floating around the keep, without my soldiers whispering about these disappearances. She shakes her head. I'd just as soon abandon the district, but if those monsters should find a way out... Yeah, we're probably going to look into it, because we need to go that way anyway. But tell me about it first. Used to be one of the most one of the most prestigious districts in Defiance Bay, but a few months ago the residents all went mad, started eating each other and anything else that had the bad luck to wander into the district. I've never seen anything like it. Now every novitiate that stands guard there, everyone that come back anyway, talks of the stench of the grave and the groans of unspeakable horrors. She holds up one plate-clad finger. The why and the how are the questions for the animancers. I've sealed the district in hopes of containing whatever happened there. Seems to be working, for now. If there's anything else, I must attend to my duties. Yeah, what are your duties? What do you do here? I'm in charge of the keep's novitiates. I'm responsible for their training and patrol assignments. She nods at the group gathered in the training room. They're good soldiers, and they've been quick to adapt to new challenges. Okay, let's go back to Heritage Hill. She lowers her voice. Yeah, that's what isn't wrong. That's the same thing. I could look into it. She steps back and regards you. After what I've just told you, you want to go to Heritage Hill? I've lost trained soldiers there. Why should I let anyone in? If people are disappearing, someone's got to figure out what's happening to them. If you're so eager to rush to your death, I won't stop you. She quietly looks on the novitiates. And if you're somehow able to put a stop to this, you've got my permission to enter Heritage Hill. I'll send word to the guards at the gate. Thank you very much. So, we now got what we came for here. Nothing else in the training room relevant to us. I'm not scared of a few undeads, or vessels, as they're called in this game, I've realized. So, I can go right or up the stairs. I think I'll go down here first. This would not be stealing. Book. Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. 1. All errors can be reforged into lessons. Abaddon rebuilt himself from ruin. No setback is insurmountable. Not even death itself, so long as the soul is dedicated to the task. 2. Work hard, work well. Abaddon demands only honest labor and forthright service. All errors can be reforged if your first intentions are pure. 3. All ignorance can be reforged into knowledge. Master your craft, excel at what you have been trusted to do. Do not offend your teacher by remaining a student forever. I think I've read these rules before. 4. Each generation must forge its successors. Teach your trade to all who are willing to learn, and in doing so, multiply the fruits of your knowledge. 5. All difficulties can be reforged into triumphs. Meet strife with humility and acceptance. Let adversity temper the ingot of your will, and you will never shatter. 6. Embrace your station, fulfill the duties of your rank, and meddle not in the affairs of your betters. All guilds fail at their weakest link. 7. All laws can be reforged into strength. Profitable work heals all emptiness. So long as you have the tools of your trade, you will always be able to forge wealth anew. 8. Value the works of others, and they will value your works in return. Share the harvest with the hungry, and your tools with the destitute. 9. All souls can be reforged into whatever we will. Hard work is not exclusive to life. Death is no time for complacency. Commit yourself to excellence in this cycle and the next. All right. Bit funny that this wasn't stealing when everything else in here would have been stealing if I took it. What about this then? That's not stealing either. That's interesting. What is this? This is the symbol of Abaddon, a colossal smithing hammer imposed over a circular gear. It's smooth and bright with buffing oils.
Following your lead,
this the altar here is empty, so nothing else in here. Why is she alone?
Yes.
Who wants to join? And then I think we should go upstairs. See what's up here?
We just don't have the manpower.
So this is Cliver or what? Commander Cliver, yes. Just this here and just this here. Can I check this map out? This map shows the environs surrounding Defiance Bay. Flags mark strategic access points to the city. I'd like to check the room out before speaking with Cliver, I think. Well, it's no surprise that this would be stealing. That one wouldn't be. Edict of arrests. This edict calls for the arrest of Eon, whose recent actions have led to the death of a knight of the Crucible. It requests reporting any information to Justicia Aldmar, and it is signed Commander Cliver. And then we have development of a Crucible Knight Part 1, lower ranks. In recent years, the Knights of the Crucible have evolved as a group, no longer concentrating solely on blacksmithing or combat training. They've adjusted their focus to help initiates develop their souls as well as their bodies. From initiation, there is a well-defined path to the top of the order. Squire. When a candidate shows sufficient prowess in the blacksmithing or recently at least the drive and potential, he is accepted into the order as a squire. Once he is part of the order, training begins immediately. Lessons are divided into two main sections: body, commanded by the Lord Marshal, and soul, overseen by the Grand Crucible. At this point in their progression, the only uniform the squire is allowed is a simple cloth uniform displaying the knight's colors. Novitiate. After sufficient training, each squire is given a 3-part test. He must repair a broken piece of armor, he must recite the Canticles of Abaddon from memory, and he must be able to land a blow on a novitiate in combat. If he exceeds at all 3 of these tasks, he is promoted to the position of novitiate. At this point, he is given the first official piece of crucible armor, a brigandine. His training now doubles, as only the most valiant of candidates makes it through to the next level. Justiciars and Templars. When a novitiate shows he's ready, decided by his teachers and trainers, he must make a decision. His training and advancement from this point on will focus on one of the 2 disciplines, body or soul. Novitiates that choose body continue military training as a justiciar under the Lord Marshal. Novitiates that choose soul are given clerical training as a Templars under the Grand Crucible. Justiciar or Templars, the newly appointed, is taken through the ritual of the arm. He is given his plate armor and symbol of Abaddon. He is then taken to the smith's forge, named after Abaddon, and is tasked with forging a small nail out of iron. He affixes this nail to his armor under Abaddon's symbol and will wear it there for the rest of his life as a knight of the Crucible. At this point, the knight's training is fixed. If he chooses body, that is the path he is on until the end of his days, and if he chooses soul, there is no deviating from the course. That is why the choice is only presented after he has been through months of training. So these are just the lower levels of... Okay, nothing left but to talk to Cliver, I think. Oh, this is stealing stuff. Why was this not stealing when that was? Confusing. Let's speak with Cliver.
Refugees from every corner of the Deerwood. The dozens getting them all riled up about animancy. At this rate, we'll need twice the soldiers to patrol Defiance Bay. Yes? Can I help you with something?
Why don't you have enough soldiers?
Fleetbreaker Castle. The High Justice has summoned almost half of my novitiates, and more of my justiciars to a keep on the other side of New Hailmar. It's not for me to question the High Justice's orders, but it's left us short-handed. And mark me, we're just a couple sparks away from anarchy.
With so many newcomers, can't you just recruit more soldiers? More recruits means more training, which means more time from experienced soldiers that I don't have. He half turns away from you. Anyhow, I hardly see how this is any of your concern, but if you got the time to ask me about it, then perhaps you've got the time to do something constructive. Forge Master Dunstan is working with an Animancy scholar to build what we're calling Forge Knights, warriors that can patrol our streets without suffering fatigue, disobedience, or fear. Some agitator throws a rock at him. We don't have to worry about things getting out of hand. He's constructed the armor, but we need the scholar's research. Unfortunately, she hasn't been around the last few times my novitiates have checked. Viana lives with the rest of the Scriveners out in the Copperlane, but I haven't the soldiers to spare at the moment. Go to the Scrivener's dormitory and see if you can find her. When you get the research, just bring it to Dunstan. This is his area of expertise anyway. Once you've brought him the research, he can sell you any arms of armor if you have need. He forges and repairs all of your equipment. You won't find a more capable smith in Defiance Bay. Was there something else I can do for you? You're in charge of the Crucible Knights? Here in Defiance Bay, anyhow. The High Justice is the leader of our order, but he's currently stationed at Fleetbreaker Castle. My job is to oversee our forces in Defiance Bay and to keep order for the Duck. Tell me about the Knights of the Crucible. He crosses his hands behind his back. We're the only professional army in Defiance Bay, or in the Deerwood for that matter. We defended the city in Hadred's day. We've improved our training since then, but Dinwood Rao can certify that many of our officers come from good Deerwooden fighting stock. Now we're responsible for patrolling the city and keeping the peace. With so many refugees pouring in from the countryside, that's become more important than ever. Unfortunately, that's earned us enemies, particularly among the Dustans and some of the more enterprising families in Defiance Bay. What do the Dustans have against you? He snorts. They're demagogues and troublemakers. They forget that Defiance Bay is one of the largest cities in the world and not some frontier outpost. Most of them are mercenaries in a good day and street thugs the rest of the time. Needless to say, they've no patience for law and order. Tell me about these enterprising families. House Dominel, namely. They're one of the city's oldest noble families and its largest criminal organization. Their patriarch, Getmar, has been trying to take advantage of the turmoil to expand his operations. We've kept on top of him and he hasn't been too happy about that. I see. Was there something else I can do for you? Nope, I think that's it. We got a quests. Let's check that out. Which one was it? It's not this one, right? No. Well, I know I have to go back to Copperlane and talk with this lady about it, but I didn't catch which one of these. Well, whatever, we're gonna go there. That was all we had to do in here. So let's head back out to the streets. Back into the streets we go. So that was the Crucible Knights. We have to go back to Copperlane. We also have to go several places we have to go now. We also have to go to Heritage Hill. What about the Ducal Palace? What's that? I'm not going to go to Andra's Hill, Andra's Gift. Valiant Diplomat? Nothing to discuss with him. I think I'm going to go over here before I... What's going on there? Just a gathering of justiciars. Nothing to worry about. Rail for an embassy. Alien. There's a soldier here saying Quinoline Grapplewind. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's soul. Voices from its past seems to call out to you. You see the solemn faces, hundreds of them. They stand in silent remembrance, a town officially lamenting the sacrifice of some brave hero. His companions stand to the side, empty. The official tells their story, the saving of the village, the story of the one lost to the trolls in the battle, as the best he can be. That's the best he can, but the faces of his friends say far more about the veracity of the speech. Finally, it's over and the villagers move back to their lives. The adventurers mill about for a time, talking, remembering, before heading back to the inn for the night. They mourn in their own ways, tears, anger, sweat, broken bottles. The leader of the group stays quiet, gaze inward. Weeks pass and he speaks little, leaving the inn early in the morning and returning late at night, exhausted. Finally, he takes the others to see it, a statue, life-sized, beautiful in its crude design. The villagers mounted in the square as the group leaves, still empty, but a little less broken. The statue smiles at them as they leave. How cute. Sad story, but he got himself
All these circling feet heading nowhere.
Yeah, I got another guy that wants to speak with me. I have to be more considerate of this. So.
Strange place for a shrine to Abidan, Crucible Keep. Maybe it made more sense at some point before it gathered all that dust. The only thing the Knights of the Crucible worship these days is the nobility, as far as I understand it.
I knew some soldiers who got recruited by the Knights after the war was over. They told me some about it. They get these young kids in there and they tell them about blacksmithing and about the revolution and about tradition. Talk about the golem that he created, the Crucible Knights, in his forge to go win Deerwood's independence. Then they join and it turns out all any of those knights ever talks about is when are we going to get recognized as a real knighthood? When are we going to getting our titles in our land? Their High Justice wants to be an earl, says it's Abidan's will. He's got a castle and an army. You wonder how long he'll wait before he starts a war over it, saying Abidan told him to. It seems like some members do still take their ideals seriously. You see it with the older knights, some of them taught differently. I feel for them, seeing all that slowly wearing away around them with nothing to be done because the wrong people are in charge. Shame they don't have better people leading them. Yep, one might say.
What is it?
So, what's this? Valiant
As you
Embassy.
wish.
Valiant soldiers. You have business with the republics.
Let's see what
Oh,
lies
no
this
crouching here. Well, I'd like to walk around on the outside if I can. Before heading in. There's anything to do here? No, there isn't. So let's head in there. Okay. This was not stealing. Galvan Recht. Mention the name Recht in Glanfath and you'll be told stories of a glorious freedom fighter. An Orlan who used his tactical savvy and battle training to protect the Glanfathan from the encroaching evil of the invaders in the Deerwood. Ask someone in the Deerwood about him and you'll hear angry retellings of the exploits of an underhanded, dirty fighting Orlan who terrorized Deerwood and citizens. This conflict is what legends are built on, and Galvan Recht is the stuff of legends. The Broken Stone War began from a misunderstanding between the Glanfathans who lived in the Deerwood and the Aediran colonists who were moving in. Tensions were already high between the two groups, as the Aedirans claimed land the Glanfathans said they already owned. Add to it the Glanfathans taken and forced into slavery by the Aedirans, and it was only a matter of time before something snapped and sent the two groups to war. There was the occasional skirmish or fight between isolated groups, but no real conflict until the Broken Stone War. Whether intentional or not, Aediran farmers clearing land for their crops knocked over and destroyed one of the ancient menhirs that dot the countryside. The Glanfathans, who revered the ancient structures in the Deerwood, reacted swiftly and violently, led by a particular fanatical fang by the name of Recht. While the war was short-lived and the Glanfathans were ultimately not the victors, Recht and his forces were able to eliminate a significant number of colonists. After the war ended, Recht was appointed the Galvan, or leader of the Glanfathan tribes. His leadership skills and prowess in battle earned him the respect of all the tribes of Ethir Glanfath. Because all the tribes were unified behind him, he was able to move and coordinate their warriors in a way that organized them into such an efficient team. The Aediran colonists lived in fear of the next attack. His name and reputation spread through both lands. Over 2 years following the Broken Stone War, Recht and his forces, using deception, misinformation, and straightforward guerrilla tactics, killed hundreds. The remaining earls sent word to the Verkonjing, saying something must be done before more nobility is killed, but Recht continued to terrorize the colonists, and it seems the campaign will never end. That is until he encountered Edrang Hadrit. Well, let's take that one as well. Oh, somebody here. Let's just check the rooms first. These postings show current prices for a range of commodities, and they track the running exchange rate for the Valian Lusky. Soldier, diplomat. How about this one? Oh, that's stealing. We won't do that then. Stop that. Vicent Agosti.
Hail and well met.
What can this humble servant of the Republics do for you? Tell me about the Valian Republics. They are rich in all ways, in wealth, in style, and in culture. If you were to go to the Republics, you would not want to leave. Why would you? The people are beautiful and charming. I'm here because the son Greta Duskala wishes it, but when my appointment is done, I will be on the first ship out, and I will sing from here to Salona. If there's nothing else, I must return to my duties. What do you do here? As the Valian ambassador, my job is to ensure trade with the Deerwood. To ensure that trade with the Deerwood remains strong and profitable. Okay, farewell. Let's head in here. Let's see if there's anyone here to speak with. Those are just regular diplomats. Go into the meeting hall first. Or perhaps it's a meeting room. Spread across the table are the blueprints of an in-progress trade deal between a merchant company from the Republics and Deerwood and We're Cool Collective. Yeah, I was wrong. This is not a meeting hall. This is some kind of meeting hall. The flag depicts the symbol of the Valian Republics, a ship sailing beneath 5 radiant stars. Okay, let's head into the last room of this embassy. Here we are. This is not stealing. Let's go there. Another book. Selected Correspondences of Gilfringer Iden. Sing, ocean waves of Andra's sorrow, of her unrequited love for the unattainable moon. Sing of the ocean's sorrow so that we may forge our own, so that we may forget our own. Each day the tides reenact Andra's longing for the great moon. The waters reach out of high tide, yearning for the heavenly body only to slump into low tide when the moon proves unattainable. You asked me once why I loved Andra so dearly, how I could go from a life on dry land to being a devotee of the goddess of the oceans. I sing of the ocean's sorrow so that I may forget my own. It is Andra's message that speaks to my heart. I have devoted my life to helping others discard painful memories, for that is the gift Andra gave me. When I lost my young daughter, my wife and I were inconsolable until a gift-bearer offered to take my toddler's toy and cast them into the deepest waters. Truth be told, I and the other gift-bearers I know have never ever spoken to Andra. She is largely silent, and when she does speak, she uses floods and tidal waves instead of words, but we sing of the ocean's sorrow so that others may forget theirs. Andra's story, the story of desire unanswered, actually matters to people like you and me. Macron cannot steer you to victory over sadness. Hylia cannot force joy down a crying throat. Only Andra can give us the strength to persevere when life seems without worth. And that is the answer to your question regarding why I love my goddess so dearly. Well, let's grab that book as well. No one here to speak to apparently, and the chest would be stealing, so I have nothing more to do in here. So let's head back out to the streets. We still haven't been at the Ducal Palace, and then we need to go back to the Copperlane. Still have 15 minutes left of this episode. I'm hoping that we will be able to finish this map and get back and finish the quest at Copperlane. But I think actually the only place missing is the Ducal Palace, because this leads to other regions of the city. So let's head to the Ducal Palace before going back to Copperlane. It seems right. Two commoners, not interesting. Oh, these are not what these are. Oh my. Okay. Ruben Torres. Yeah, this one we know. You see a young boy sneak up the ramp of a giant black sailed ship, smile so wide it almost cracks his wind-whipped cheeks. The ship is almost empty, crew out drinking and celebrating their latest haul. The boy easily evades the drunken guards, playing cards on the upper decks, trading stories of conquests the boy doesn't yet understand, and runs down the stairs to the decks below. The ship is silent below as he explores, just a gentle lap of the ocean against the hull and the muffled sound of excited feet running between boxes, stopping at each to peek inside. Another pair of footsteps and the boy jumps, hiding behind a collection of sacks. The footsteps disappear. Eventually, while the boy is asleep, and the ship roars into life as a drunken crew make a breakneck escape with an accidental stowaway. Okay, and Urist Nakaso. You see a dwarf, matted beard, slick with rain and dirt. His teeth are gritted in the wind, cloak drawn close. He walks in formation with 21 others, all bearing the same insignia, a mercenary company. They're all soaked with mud and filth, faces broken, shoulders fallen and soft. They do not speak as they move, gathered in an uneven circle. Their guide gestures an officious-looking Orlan, directing them through the sodden street towards a rundown building. The ceiling has particularly caved in, and something about the too perfect door causes the party to stop. The Orlan barks at them, agitated. The mercenaries form a tight circle. Something is amiss. Then hooves, gunfire. They have been betrayed. The fight is fast and efficient. Mercenary blood stains the cobblestone streets as the soldiers round up those remaining. A horse rears out of nowhere, kicking the dwarf in the side of the head. He falls instantly, blood seeping from his ear. The soldiers leave the mess, uncaring, their orders completed. Night falls and bodies stiffen. Rain has all but washed the street clean as the dwarf slits open an eye, groaning. He staggers to his feet, hand on his head. He leaves his cloak on the ground, insignia greeting the sky, and slowly walks away. Okay. And these are all nobles, so they have no unique dialogue. Call for interested patrons. Ship lost. There's a lot going on up here with these people. Meckhand. You see this man, much younger, lying on a large stone slab situated on a dais in the center of a circular room. At 7 points around the dais, older men in black robes prostrate themselves over ornate runes worked into the stone of the floor, chanting in a low drone. An 8th man enters carrying an ebony box inlaid with the gold runes that match the runes on the floor. He stands at the head of the slab, lowers his head and slowly opens the box. He turns to each prostrate man in turn, tipping the open box in their direction as he does. He then sits the box at the head of the slab, facing away from the young man lying there. He reaches into the box, removing a small cylinder of onyx, and then moves to the end of the slab, stopping near the young man's feet. He holds the onyx up, says a word, and then presses it against the young man's right foot. When it touches his flesh, the onyx softens and becomes a black leech, attaching itself to the young man's soul. The man repeats these steps until there are leeches on both hands and feet, the middle of the chest, his neck, and his forehead. The older man then takes his place as the head of the slab, raising his hands and joining the chanting, watching the young man as his blood drains. Interesting. Leonor. You see a dimly lit street lined with buildings. Most of them are dark and quiet, but one of the edges of a canal is bright and noisy, defying the night. This Mawa stands in the dark, huddled against the cold for the shadows, keeping away from everything. He stares at the door of the lit building, intently studying it. There's a sign hanging on the side of the building. It's barely legible in the dark, but it appears to read, Goose and Fox. Movement from inside the building perks the Omora up. He pulls his cloak closer around his face, and his breath speeds up, catching slightly. His excitement is palpable. The main door to the establishment opens, releasing a cacophony of laughter and shouting. Light spills out into the street, illuminating a solitary figure in the doorway. The Omora stands, bringing his right hand in front of his face, palm down, fingers extended. The figure exits Goose and Fox and stumbles off into the darkness, swaying slightly as it walks unsteadily down the street. The Omora follows the figure, muttering a few words under his breath and gently wiggling his hand. The tips of his fingers start glowing lightly, steam rising from them against the cold air. He increases his pace, intent on catching the figure disappearing into the night. He shakes his hand once more, and the tip of his fingers bursts into flames, the flickering light revealing a manic glee in his eyes. He closes on the figure, nearly hyperventilating with happiness, and whispers a name. Run. The figure jumps slightly and begins to turn as the Omora extends his hand, leveling his fingers directly at the figure. Okay. More of these backer stories, I guess. So is there anything more here in the courtyard in front of the Ducal Palace? Doesn't seem like it really. Oh, this is not there. This leads back to Copperlane. We're not going to go there yet. So are we missing all this here? We're still missing. Can we get there from up here? Do that before going into the Ducal Palace, I guess.
Politics, infighting, greed, and a shrine to Margaret as well. Her clergy belongs there.
Oh, there are more backers here. We're probably not going to get back to Copperlane in this episode then. Let's see. 12 charms, Maggie Tiller. You see a small mobile stall covered with various goods and sundries. The woman is standing next to it, engaged in a lively discussion with a man who's holding one of the items she's selling. She has a light, friendly countenance and is trying to explain to the man how to control the item. He moves his hands around the top of it and mutters what sounds to be gibberish. After several attempts, he growls and thrusts the item back at her and starts to turn away. She stops him with a hand on his shoulder and holds the item up in front of his face. She traces a finger over the top of it, slowly and distinctly repeating the same phrase over and over. The object suddenly lights up, shining as brightly as a torch. The man's face brightens as well, and he looks at her expectantly. She runs 2 fingers down the side of the object, and the light extinguishes. She hands it back to him and takes her place behind, guiding his hands as she whispers the words to say in his ear. Many failed attempts later, the man is able to light the object on every try. Later, he hands it back to her as she makes her way behind the cart. While he reaches for appropriate coin, she places the item on a shelf under the backside of the cart and replaces it with another from a small box next to it. Money and goods are exchanged, and she watches the man leave, satisfied with his purchase. The man scans the crowd, looking for her next. Then she scans the crowd, looking for her next mark. Okay. Kapla You see a man preaching, his voice washing over a small crowd of eager acolytes. He speaks of tolerance and of self-reliance, pain and of beauty. The crowd nods agreement clear on their transparent faces, and the preacher frowns. He continues, speaking of the importance of anger, the strength of hatred, and frustration. His frown deepens as they nod, enraptured. He calls forth one of their number, an older man. It is safe, the preacher says. No harm will come to him. Smiling, the man walks forward into the preacher's embrace. A shudder rocks his frame as he pushes away a thin stiletto through his chest. He falls to the ground and does not breathe long. The crowd groans, confused. The preacher's face is dark with rage. Do not trust blindly, he says. Do not take the world at its face. Terrible things lie beneath, and you must be prepared before you see the truth. The crowd thins. The body removed, the preacher is silent. A few remain to listen, and to them he smiles. Well, that's kind of a brutal way to prove your point. Really? Nothing more over here. What have we got here? Refugees. Probably not unique either with any dialogue. No. Animan says, of course, the legacy, they have a lot to answer for. I like to check the edges before going into the Ducal Palace. Is this here? And noble. There's another door from this side. And if I go down here, then I end up, close to Heritage Hill. We're not going to go there today. Probably going to go there next time. Can I just go in from the side? Does that make a difference? Let's See how big the Ducal Palace is. We can finish this on this playthrough. Oh, it's not that big. I think we can. Hall of Records and Shrine of Macron. Just this here. Okay, this is... Unlocking this will require the proper key. We don't have that, and we're not welcome in there anyway, so... Let's go in here. Healing. That's all we can do in here, so let's leave again. Just regular, just as is there. Welcome to the Ducal Palace, says Sidley. Let's talk to Sidley.
Good day, stranger.
Sorry. The young woman wears a simple but well-tailored uniform. She watches the comings and goings around her with quiet attention. Any news to share? Or are you just here to see the Ducal Palace? What is the Ducal Palace? It's the seat of government here in Defiance Bay. It's where Duke Admeth Hadred declared freedom from Aediran rule some 150 years ago. She lowers her voice and grins. It's also a hotbed of regional politics. Trust me, the gossip here beats what you'll find in any tavern or brothel in the city. And then Kana breaks in. Ah, Deerwood politics. It changes too quickly to be worth keeping up with. Better to strike up conversation in the taverns than try to loiter inconspicuously in the palace corridors. Looking for news? Who are you? I'm a page here at the palace. I deliver messages and run errands for the Duck and his advisors. The pay's not great, but I can't think of better introduction to politics. What goes on in here? She laughed. Where to start? We've got meetings, public hearings, and ceremonies, and that's just the stuff that happens out in the open. She leans a little closer. This is where the Duck and his key advisors work, so there's always someone bartering for a favor. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to talk about that side of things. But if you want the official version, she clears her throat and gestures counterclockwise around the palace. We have a shrine devoted to Macron, official records and chambers for public hearings and council meetings. Oh, tell me about the Shrine of Macron. It's a symbol of Macron's protection of Defiance Bay. She represented the revolutionary spirit of the Deerwood ever since independence, and her involvement in creating the Godhammer Brom only affirmed her importance to us. That's also where the first of the sacred fires burn, but Birga, the tranquil ardent, is had trouble keeping them lit. What kind of records are stored here? Mostly dull official stuff. Census counts, tax records, militia registers. Now, I keep my distance. I got curious one day and got drafted into reshelving half of the records. Worst day of my life. Is there a hearing going on right now? Sure is. Duck Avar's been meeting with some of the city's leaders for weeks now, trying to figure out how to address the legacy. The whole business is terribly secret, though. I tried to sit in the gallery during my lunch break one day and got turned away. She sniffs. But a lot of the talk concerned intimacy, so there's a good reason they're keeping the meetings behind closed doors. Why is animancy? Oh, was it animancy? Yeah. Why is animancy so controversial? She laughs. Where to begin? Traditionalists think it's a crime against the gods. There's no question that poking around in souls is risky, but the more progressive elements believe it's our only shot at restoring healthy births. And it doesn't help matters that animancy research often involves old Ingwithan relics that were illegally looted from the ruins in Erglanfath. She makes a quick twitching motion with her index and middle fingers. So what do you think about animancy? Me? I think the real danger of animancy is confusing a real scholar with an expensive fake. We get a new case here every day. some poor couple in the gift or Copperlane who spent every copper they had on a miracle cure for their unborn child. It never works. She shakes her head. Breaks your heart, but there's usually nothing we can do for them. Okay, let's ask about the legacy. Waidwen's legacy, that's what a lot of people call the wrath of Hollowborn. The theory goes that it's punishment for meddling in animancy. What are the Hollowborn? I know that already, but let's ask. She raises an eyebrow. You really are fresh from the road. Hollowborn are children born without souls. They often don't live for very long, and those that do have generally received some kind of treatment from the animancy. Well, I see. Anyway, the legacy is what the politicians have all been whispering about lately. Well, I'd like to ask something else. Of course, I've always got my ear to the ground. Tell me about the current duck. That would be Avar Wolfgren. Don't let the title fool you, though. Our ducks have been elected since independence. Some find Duck Avar rather coarse. He is a frontier noble. Personally, I think a rough and tumble type is just what Divine Spain needs. Okay, goodbye to you. And probably not much more we can do there. Oh, there is. Was this just another... Oh, this is another exit, or... I don't want to leave it now. Yeah, this is the main gate. Okay, then we got that cleared out. Let's head back in. Check out the rest. Still a little short here. We couldn't get in there, that was locked, but we're still missing this one. And let's go here first. Birga is standing in here. This is probably Magran, or... The stone figure of a warrior gazes toward her raised hand. It's empty, but the palm and fingers are blackened. Well, let's see what Birga has to say.
Welcome.
The woman's head is bowed as her lips move in prayer. Just as you approach, you catch her glimpsing at the statue near her. She notices you and forces a smile. Praise be to Magran, and welcome to her temple. How may I be of service? You seem upset. What's wrong? The shoulders slump. This is about the fires, isn't it? She put a hand on your shoulder. They're just symbols. You can't put your faith in them. Pyres? She sighs. The sacred pyres all around town? You must have seen the statue of the goddess around the city, holding up empty braziers. I've kept them burning steadily for 15 years, but I haven't been able to conjure them for months now, and people need to see them more than ever these days. What does that mean? It's my devotions and prayers that keep them lit, but lately, when I try to pray, all I can think about are the Hollowborn all over the city, the grieving families, the refugees. She shakes her head. How could Magran allow us to suffer like this? What strength do we gain from a soulless child? Durance grunts with disdain. What strength do we gain from adversity, from trial and test? The fires don't wither because she lacks in faith. They wither because she does not understand how to be faithful to a whore. A whore wants neither praise nor devotion. A whore wants to be compensated for her services, and Magran is paid and pleased in sweat and struggle and pain. This mewling imbecile is unworthy of Magran's womanly heat. Wow, that was toxic. And this has shaken your faith? She nods, running her hands through the hair. But I believe Magran may be speaking to me again. She frowns and casts a quick glance in your direction. Lately I've been seeing visions. A place in the wilderness with pools filled with sunbursts of color, strange falls that seem to rise to the heavens even while they splash into the earth. She raises her hands as if framing an image of her vision. And behind the falls is a cave filled with fire and heat and danger, and some token of my goddess. I know there's something there, but where is it or how I get there? She shakes her head. I've been meaning to ask around at the expedition hall to see if anyone recognized the description. To be honest, though, I don't know what I'd do, even if I found the place. Durance, worthless, like so many of Macron's flock, afraid of her god's tests. If Macron speaks to her, it's to hasten an end to a hypocrite's life, and this vision is surely a death trap for the weak. I'd like to know more about the temple here. Macron is the most revered goddess among us Deerwoodens, so it's no surprise that her temple is part of the Ducal Palace. The fires symbolize trials, revolutions, and the blazing of new paths, all of which are important to us. She gestures to the statue. This is the first of the sacred pyres. When this is lit, so are the rest around the city. Something else? What's the significance of the sacred pyres? They symbolize Macron's power and guidance, and right now, the people of Defiance Bay need to be assured of her presence. She crowds her arms, staring at the statue. Our neighbors in the Valian republics see us as superstitious, but we're just sensitive to the signs and warnings of the gods. Goodbye. So Cinders of Faith is our new quest. And we need to travel to the cave from Virga's vision. We really have a lot of quests now. I think we pick up more than we include. Let's see what's happening here. Justiciars, and these are also Justiciars. But who's this? Noble. Stealing. Let's continue up. Upwards. Records keeper. This is stealing. Okay, let's speak with him.
Good day, stranger.
A taciturn man with graying hair pores over a tome. He's just withdrawn from one of the shelves. He glances up at you with baggy eyes. Yes, is there something I can pull for you? I'm looking for militia records from the time of the Saints' War, trying to find out what happened to someone. The man clears his throat. We've had a number of inquiries about such information. I'm afraid we'd had to bar access to the public. Seems there are still quite a number of folk in the Deerwood who bear ill will toward residents. It would be irresponsible to surrender their names to just anyone. Many came to settle here as refugees. Perhaps if you were more established in Defiance Bay, things would be different, but I have no reason to suspect you to be any different from the others. Might 16, I take what I want. I'm not robbing her, am I? The records keeper frowns. In the Ducal Palace, I can assure you that you do not. Besides, without my assistance, you'd be shifting through scrolls for years. We've come a long way. Ader, I just need to find out about my brother. I don't even know what side he fought for. You must understand. I've heard many such stories. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do for you. Even my might didn't work? Nope. Okay. Fragments of the scattered faith. Didn't get anything out of that from here, and I think that's going to be the end of this Ducal Palace. Oh, can I go in that way? No, it's also locked for the public. Maybe we can get in there later, who knows? But certainly not now. So let's leave this place, and then we will go for Copperlane and end the episode there, I think. We have one quest up in Copperlane. Need to finish before we probably head to Heritage Hill.
You're from Gilded Vale? Then you're close to home.
Close can mean a lot of things.
Surely you'll go back when this is all over.
Dunno. Guess that all depends.
I think we're going to go back to Copperlane now. Finish that quest before we end the episode, because otherwise I don't think we will be able to remember that we have a quest to finish over here. And now I hope that I have some kind of quest marker to help me with it. Doesn't seem like I do. Let's check the journal again. What was it we were supposed to do here? It's none of these, right? Simply don't remember what the name of the quest was. There it is. Go to the Scrivener's Dormitory in Copperlane. The Scrivener's Dormitory. Viana. There we are. Not that far. So this is the Scrivener. Was it him? Need to... No, it's Viana I need to meet. Let's hope she's in there then. Haven't I been in here before? Yeah, I have. Been here before. Corin, should I speak with Corin? Maybe he can help
Well
me.
met, friend.
Corin sways slightly from side to side. Your skin's still green, but you lost your ducks. I'm looking for Viana. I like Viana. She's always talking about metal men, which is strange, since I'm pretty sure she doesn't eat snowcap. His brow wrinkles. I don't talk about metal men either, and I do eat snowcap. Huh? Anyway, she is not here right now. Flew away to Andra's gift to meet her friend Bessia. No, Clesia. Yes, Clesia. Clesia is the friend she's gone to meet in Andra's gift. In a house, not a boat. North house. Empty house. Andra's gift has a lot of boats. We should go rowing sometime. Okay, he's weird. So, we actually pretty much have several quests leading us to all the other regions of this place. So I'm going to go back into what was it called? First Fires here, and save there, leave the episode, and then we actually have things to solve in all the other areas, I believe. And I'm gonna wait a bit before yeah, it's gonna take us another 15 minutes, that's fine. Before I rest, because everybody is still at full endurance. But it will probably be their last combat. So, we have quests down here.
How's the hand?
Turning purple. I'd have to cut it off.
I warned you not to pet him.
If I'm not supposed to pet him, why is he so soft?
Weird dialogue. Well, we have the sanatorium down here. We have this Viana down here. Anondra's gift. And then, of course, we have the undeads plaguing Heritage Hill. So we have plenty of stuff to do at all three regions of this place at this moment. So I am gonna leave us right here in the middle of it all, having not decided which way to go yet. And then we'll look into it on the next episode where we stop. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.